Hey everyone, welcome back. So today is Thursday. Quite a few things in the news. The miners were mostly down for the day. Bitcoin was trading flat. We do have news from Stripe. They got some great announcements for us, and then also Robinhood has some announcement as well. We do have a lot of adoption going on, so we'll take a look at that, and then we'll also take a look at Hut 8 provided their mining numbers 2 days back. I missed it, so we're going to do it today along with Iris Energy. We'll do that one today as well, and we'll call it a day. So let's get into it. As always, not financial advice, you know the drill. I'm invested in following companies and coins for full disclosure, and let's get into the miners here right now. So let's start off with ANY, which is Sphere 3D. ANY was down 8.93% on the day to $2.04. It has continued to slide here for the past 3 days or so, ever since Bitcoin obviously fell. And then we got Argo. Argo was down 2.22% to 88 cents. It's been sliding down as well. Bitfarms was actually up 0.3% to $3.29. It is up a little bit more now in the after hours as well. Cleanspark was down 0.54% to $11.14. It is up a little bit in the after hours right now. Core Scientific was down 0.9% to $8.25. It's down a little bit more in the after hours, another 3% or so. Digihost was down 0.55% to $3.65. DMG was down 2.7% to 50 cents. Hive was down 0.52% to $1.90. It's up a little bit in the after hours, another 2.11% to the upside. Hut 8 was down 1.21% to $4.88. It's up 1.43% in the after hours. Iris Energy was down 1.89% to $14.01. It's up 3.5% in the after hours right now. Luxxfolio is down 5.28% to 26 cents. Marathon was down 1.72% to $23.77. And it's up a little bit now, almost 1% in the after hours. Mawson was down 0.64% to $4.66. And Riot was down 1.36% to $17.42 on the day. As you can see, pretty much everybody here was down for the day for the most part, pretty much following the same pattern as Bitcoin has been. Let's take a look at Bitcoin right now. So Bitcoin is at 43,626 right now. It has been bouncing off of the 50-day moving average here, the green line here. We're looking at the daily chart right now. RSI is way down to about 47. And as we commented yesterday on it, last time we were this low, we were at this price here of around 39,700. Excuse me. So we've obviously had a great increase in price here while the RSI has come down a little bit. So I think this is just a breather here that we're experiencing a little bit. Some accumulation possibly going on. On the 1 hour chart, we are seeing a little bit of a divergence from the 20-day moving average, from the 200-day moving average. We thought we were going to get across here in a couple of days. We may still have this happen, but it's only going to take a couple more days, I think, to a week or so before that happens. As long as Bitcoin goes up, if it falls back down, well, then we'll have to cover that as well, see what happens there. Ethereum is at 3,240 right now. It has been bouncing off of the 200-day moving average, the blue line right here. It has been bouncing off of that, and right now it is bouncing off of the 20-day moving average, the red line here, which is a good sign. We'll see how this continues going up, but it's actually up 2.24% right now on the day. So we're in good shape there. Our RSI is good as well. On the 1 hour chart, let's look at the daily chart really quick. And we can see here the averages, and last time we were here, we were back here, which was about 2,960 or so. So we've obviously gone up about $300 or so from that. So this is good, I think. This will obviously give us a little bit more room to run. I keep saying that, but I think it's true. So let's take a look at really quick at the total Bitcoin network hash rate. And these are the 60-day numbers. These are the raw values. Let's refresh this really quick, see if we get anything else. And we are seeing this kind of lower end here continuing to creep up a little bit. I would think miners would be getting more installed. I think with everything that's going on in Europe right now, some miners might be shutting down over there in that area where electricity is really expensive. So this might be why we're seeing a little bit of a decrease instead of continuation of the uptrend that we've seen before. I think it's still going to continue going up as the weeks and months progress. I think this is just a low right now in this system. All right, so let's take a look at the first story here. So Jack Mallers' Stike announces, let me see, thought I had it up here. There it is. Jack Mallers' Stike announces Shopify integration for Bitcoin Lightning payments. So the Bitcoiner instrumental to El Salvador's announcement at last year's conference waxed philosophical on Bitcoin's role as payment network. Here's the main details of it. So Strike CEO Jack Mallers unveiled a litany of high-powered partnerships for Bitcoin's Lightning Network at the Bitcoin 2022 conference in Miami on Thursday, including an integration with e-commerce giant Shopify. Mallers said Strike partnered with NCR, the world's largest point-of-sale supplier and payments firm, Blackhawk. So we were getting that adoption. So speaking before a packed house at the Miami Beach Conference Center main stage, Mallers, an ardent Bitcoiner and Lightning Network advocate, said his King's Gambit would bring Bitcoin back to its payments roots. If we can help make the Bitcoin network more accessible and usable, we believe we can change the world, he said. Leveraging Bitcoin as a cheap payment network is critical to that, he said, contrasting it with the caviar-eating history of Boomer Bank issued credit cards that he said hasn't innovated beyond onboarding middlemen and their fees in the years. So we're getting this. This is happening. This is really good, I think. We're having, obviously, adoption. This is really good. It's going to make it a lot less expensive to transact in Bitcoin through the Lightning Network, and this is fantastic news in my opinion. Next is Robinhood. So Robinhood released its crypto wallet to 2 million users, plans integration with Bitcoin Lightning Network. So this has been in the works for over, about a year now, if not longer, that they've been promising this to their users. Before, it used to be a walled-in garden as far as you could buy crypto on there, but you couldn't send it out. So this is huge news as well. So Robinhood Markets Hood said Thursday it has activated its crypto wallet for 2 million eligible customers, making digital assets transfers broadly possible in the long firewalled investment app. Only a handful of wallet beta testers could move Bitcoin, BTC, and Ethereum, Dogecoin, and a handful of other traded coins in and out of Robinhood's walled garden before. Now, all whitelisted customers outside of regulatory no-go zones like Nevada, New York, and Hawaii can do so. So this is also a huge step for that. Additionally, she said Robinhood will add support for Bitcoin transactions on the Lightning Network, the speedy, low-cost settlement layer for Bitcoin. For the larger community, this is a fantastic way to access Bitcoin cheaply and in a green way, she said, adding that the BTC is the top recurring buy on the app. So this is fantastic news as well. We have a lot of, obviously, people that do use Robinhood to trade crypto and everything else. So this is fantastic. And here's basically the chart. Bitcoin is the number one recurring buy asset for 2022. You can see Bitcoin, Apple, Ethereum, Tesla, VOO, Dogecoin, SPY, Amazon, Microsoft, and VTI are in the top here. And Bitcoin obviously leads right now. So this is huge news. This is great for people that can finally get their crypto off of the exchange if they wanted to. If they could buy it, put it in a, like a hardware wallet or something like that. I'm all for this. This is great. This is a great way to get it off of there. So if you're on Robinhood, get your coins off of there if you can. That way you don't have to worry about getting hacked and losing all your coins. And Robinhood has a pretty good track record of making sure people are, taken care of. So I wouldn't worry too much, but still, nevertheless, you want to have your coins in your physical property. All right, so let's take a look at Iris Energy here. They provided their update for March for production. So we got some pictures here of some of their construction going on. So the recently installed 50 megawatt transformer in Mackenzie. Big number 2, Mackenzie miners racked inside the first data center. So we got obviously a row of miners here. This is the hot aisle, I'm guessing, and then the cold aisles on the outside. Then you got probably fans their exhaust fans blowing hot air out. Prince George Foundation works for the first data center building complete. Substation foundation works progressing here. And then you got obviously Columbia Valley Rockies, provincial champions and winner of Fair Play Trophy. So they obviously sponsor those guys. And then daily average operating hash rate chart. It's kind of hard to see here for the month. But here's the basic breakdown of it. They're talking about a little bit of their 71 million equipment financing facility closed with NYDIG. We covered that in a previous video. And then here's the key highlights. So average operating hash rate is 850 petahash. Bitcoin mined was 121. Mining revenue was 5,136,000 roughly. And then down here, some construction updates. So construction activities for the first 0.3 exahash completed ahead of schedule with the final steps of the grid connection process underway. Construction continues to progress to schedule for the remainder of the initial 1.5 exahash, 50 megawatts, with advancements of the substation and additional data center buildings. Prince George, foundation work for the first data center building completed ahead of schedule during March and currently is in progress for 2 additional data center buildings, which is great. Substation excavation and foundation work also commenced in March with general site grading and civil works continuing in parallel. And then Childress, we got procurement and early mobilization activities continued to progress with the site readying for commencement of construction. And this is their 9.6 exahash, 335 megawatt place in Texas. And going down here, I think this is it, but they obviously do provide a lot of information here. So here's their operating renewable power usage and their average hash rate. So January was 804, February was 844, and then March 850. So they didn't get a lot of miners installed during that time. So we'll take a look at that, see what that actually represents. And then here's their numbers as far as the details go. And then here's their inventory as far as what's supposed to be shipping and when. So they still have a lot of miners that are going to be going in over the next basically year and a half or so. So huge growth for them still to come. And it looks like most of the miners are going to be coming in place. Looks like Q4, Q2 we have a lot of them coming in. And we also have pending inventory here of 15,000. So that's a lot. So that's good. Q2, Q3, and Q4, we're looking at about, what is that, 40, almost 55,000 miners or so that need to be installed, which is huge. So we'll see how this all gets installed and completed. But otherwise, a very, very small incremental increase in hash rate right now for them for this month. So let's take a look at the numbers I have for them, and we'll look at the details. So Iris Energy, here's what they reported. 121 Bitcoins mined for the month. I have them at 5.5. I don't know which number they're using as far as for the end of the month Bitcoin number. I'm using the number which is 45,528. They must be using some different number. I'm not sure why they would be doing it, but maybe that's just when they reconcile their numbers. But this is what I have them at. Iris, and so that's basically an increase of 11 Bitcoin. And you can see here that they were actually mining 124 in December, 126 in January. And as they have not been able to keep up with installation of the new miners, hash rate continues to go up. And that's obviously resulting in lower production numbers. So they got to stay above the hash rate of the Bitcoin network, whatever that increases each month. They have to be at that number or above in order to stay, have a gain basically. A couple other things that have changed, obviously, is the institutions. So I updated those today. So institutions went up to 38 from 1. Shares went up to 9.9 million from 3 million, percent owned to 18%, which is good. We got 1 strong buy rating, 4 buy ratings, 0 hold, 0 underperformance, 0 sell. Price targets are $31, $26, $40, and $22.20 for the low. So those have obviously increased slightly on the average and on the low. And then for the numbers here, so they're saying 5.5 million. I got them at 5.4 million roughly, which is pretty close to what they're saying. They did say that they were up to 850 petahashes with what I have right now. And that basically represented getting these miners installed here, which was only about 55 of the 100 terahash miners possibly getting installed to get us to this 850 petahash here for March. So that's going to be continuing on. So right now we're looking for the first quarter of the year at possibly 14.6 million or so, give or take a little bit. But that's kind of what we're looking at as far as their revenue is concerned. And then looking at the last 3 quarters, which was about 35 million, and then the current quarter of 14.6 million, we're looking at approximately 49.6 million total for the 4 quarters. And then obviously we use the 75% net income from gross revenue, which would give us 37.23 million. And it would give us at a price to earnings multiple of 20, a stock price of 13.65. They are at 14.01. So they are obviously a very, very, very small premium right now. They are at approximately like 21 PE. Yeah, 20 and a half PE right now or something like that, which I think they're getting the benefit of the doubt for this, or the higher premium, because of the future hash growth, which we're seeing this with obviously the miners that have huge hash growth coming up in the year to year and a half. Some of the other miners that aren't growing as much aren't getting that favorable PE rating right now. So in my opinion, they're fairly valued right now to where they should be. And we'll obviously see how they can execute going forward. They have a lot of miners that need to get installed still. BTC HODL, obviously they don't HODL anything. and so we don't have a BTC value on it or the share price on that. What else can we look at here? Obviously, the stock price has been kind of all over the place here from December. We had a low of 958. We had a high of 1733 for the end of week numbers here, and then we're at 1401. We were 1580 last week, so we're down a little bit, obviously, on the chart here. Overall, I wouldn't say great. I would say good increase in hash rate. They obviously have to have more miners installed because they are getting beat by the network hash rate of Bitcoin. So we'll see how that plays out going forward. Like I said, they got to get miners installed. That's all it is on it. As you can see here, they still have a lot of miners to get installed. And we are showing that they are only basically 5.66% installed right now from their future hash rate of about 15 exahash. So also the hash per miner average is about 97 terahash, which is really pretty good. There are others that are over 100 terahash, which is even better, but they're still pretty good here at 97 on that. All right, so we'll see how April plays out for them. But right now, this was an okay month for them for March. All right, let's take a look at Hut 8. So Hut 8 mining monthly production update for March 2022. Production highlights for March include 345 Bitcoins were mined, resulting in an average production rate of 11.1 Bitcoin per day, which is good. Our Ethereum mining, for which we received payment in Bitcoin, generated approximately 13% of our total production at an average cost of less than $2,600 Canadian per Bitcoin, which is really good as well. Obviously, the miners here are very efficient. And then 100% of the self-mined Bitcoin for the month of March were deposited into custody, consistent with Hut 8's HODL strategy. Total Bitcoin balance held in reserve is 6,460 as of March 31st. Installed operating capacity currently sits at 2.54 exahash, and I believe that is a combination of the Ethereum mining and the ASIC mining for Bitcoin. And then additional updates. So they installed 560 new MicroBT M30s and M31S Plus miners. So this is the number that I used, and then I'll show you how I figured out that this is a combination of the two. Construction at Hut 8's third mining facility located in North Bay, Ontario is nearing completion, and we are on track to begin operation in May. So that's good news as well. The proceeds from the ATM offering announced in February 2022 are being used to grow our mining business, fund our industry-leading HODL strategy, and expand our high-performance compute business, which is their GPUs, all while allowing us to make strategic equipment purchases during favorable market conditions. And that is it. So let's take a look at the numbers that I have for Hut, and we'll call it a day. Okay, so Hut is obviously 345 BTC mined, which equates to about $15.7 million in USD. There's a nice increase of 56 compared to February numbers, which they were down on. January was 308, so they have obviously increased in that, so that's good. Here's what I got as far as GPU earnings or revenue. So they're saying that 13% of the 345 was roughly from the GPU. So I used the numbers here. This is March here. So I used the numbers from March, took 13% of that. That basically gave me the Canadian amount of 2.5 million in Canadian from GPU mining. And then everything else is from their Bitcoin mining. And I included these 560 miners here, the 93 terahash, which gave them approximately 52 petahash increase. And we have now a total of 244 or 2.44 exahash in mining, which doesn't include the GPU miners. So if we look up over here, we can see the GPU miners are about 94 petahash, I'm guessing. That brings us up to 2,538 petahash, which is 2.5 exahash, which is right where they are at. Other things to note here. Institutions and analysts, so did an update on it today. 178 institutions now own shares in it. It's 40.3 million shares are owned, so that's an increase. 23.8% have ownership now. And we got one buy rating, one strong buy rating, 4 regular buys, so 0 hold, 0 underperform, 0 sell, and a price target of 15.50 for a high, 10.21 for the average, and 7.97 for low. So obviously a decrease here from the prior numbers that we've had for them. And this could be basically because they are not growing as much as some of the other miners are. So I think that's weighing it down a little bit right now in the analyst's mind, which is, kind of accurate, I think, to go by that, because the hash rate is increasing, so you're going to be making more or less over time, unless you actually grow quite a bit. So we have that. We covered all of that numbers. The hosting revenue, I'm guessing, is going to be $800,000 per month. It could be more than that. So this is kind of an Achilles heel for me. I don't know exactly what it's going to be until they actually report it. Right now, based on previous history, this is kind of what I'm looking at here. So we'll see if that plays out or not. But that obviously gets us pretty close to what they reported, 15.7, and then we got 16.5 million here. Subtract the 800,000, which is what, 600 some odd thousand USD dollars. That'll get us down to pretty much to that number there. So we're really close. I'm off maybe by 100,000 to 150,000 or something like that per month on those numbers. Okay. Looking up over here, obviously the prices of the stock is right now 488. Market cap is 1 billion. Shares outstanding is 215 million, and looking at the numbers, current quarter we're looking at about 43 million in USD, 43.7, and then last 3 quarters was 112, almost 113 million. So combined total of 156 million. So if we're using the 75% net income from gross revenue, that would get us to 117 million.5. And right now they are at approximately, it's obviously gone down now, but they are at 488. So they are approximately a price to earnings multiple of 9 right now. They do have, future hash rate reported growth is 3.2 exahash. So they are right now 76% installed. So they obviously don't have a lot of growth left in them until they report they're buying more miners or expanding, whatever they're doing, or buying out another miner. So we'll have to see what happens there. Hash rate average is about 89. It's average. It's not the best. It's in the middle of the range. I'd like to see those over at least 95 terahash per miner. And I could say that we could probably see them at 15, maybe. So that would get us to about $8.19, which would be almost 100% more from that. But I think anywhere between 8, where they are, or 9, and like 12, 13 PE would be in line with where they're going to be in the future hash rate. HODL position obviously is 6,460 Bitcoins for a total value of 281.9 million. And that basically is 26.84% of their total market cap. Or if you want to look at it another way, it's $1.31 of each share is basically a Bitcoin HODL position right now. And I think that covers everything. They still have obviously these miners here, so not a lot of miners left to get installed. Basically what it represents here is another, what is that? So we're down here, 208, so we got another 8,208 miners left or so, and that would equate to approximately 763 petahash, right? So not a lot of growth left in them. So I think if they report that they're going to be doing something, where they're going to be growing their hash rate, since like more miners are buying out a miner, who knows? They obviously have the cash to do it if they wanted to. They, I think, would get more favorable price to earnings multiple than they are currently getting. It's just the way it is right now in the mining space. Miners that are growing tremendously are seeing better price to earnings multiples. Ones that aren't growing as fast or don't have future hash rate growth that's, I guess, acceptable to investors, they're not getting that love. So it is what it is, but obviously a good month for them. They did have a positive month on it. And that basically covers everything that we wanted to talk about here. I am going to be looking at some videos from the Bitcoin conference, so we'll cover those possibly maybe tomorrow or over the weekend. We'll do some videos on those just to kind of get into the details on those. A lot of interesting things are happening there. The Bitcoin bull was pretty cool, I gotta admit. That thing is definitely 21st century compared to the Bitcoin to the bull at New York Stock Exchange that we see. So that's it. If you guys enjoyed it, obviously the spreadsheets are available to Patreon members. Wanted to say thank you to the Patreon members that do support me there. It is available there. And if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And that's all I ask from you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful evening. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.